Come on into another episode of Talk of Champions and Game Runs Deep. That's been Garrett. I'm Sudu Upadhyay. And a great show for y'all today. We got a guest coming on here shortly. Very excited about that to continue our discussion around the controversy in college football that some have created. The controversy some have created. Some may not agree. Some may agree. Ben, some are calling him the poster child of Ole Miss's griminess, Ben.
Oh, really? I'm the poster child of griminess?
That's essentially what some are saying. Not all, some. We can get to all that, but
I'm glad that Joey Green then is in the comments on Troll Patrol. I like that. So is Mason Buck. He said he's on Troll Patrol as well. And Mark Rogers, a regular here, just throwing up the shark in the trophy. Works for me, whatever. Yeah. When did I become the poster child for this? You're breaking news on Game Runs Deep.
Well, Ben, I mean, I don't think you're. I don't know how often you swim into your mentions, or you read comments on posts from your podcasts. But I have been perusing a little bit, and it is funny to me that your opinions mean so much to so many people, and I think that speaks to you. It's a testament to who you are, and the influence you seem to hold among some people.
Cool. At the end of all things, it ain't that serious, and I'm glad for all that like to join us here in Game Runs Deep, Talk of Champions, in the comments. Okay. I'm just trying to tell you the truth as I think it to be, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and I will freely admit it. But I ain't worried about all that. What I am worried about is catching up with my friend Trey Wallace from OutKick, because Trey Wallace is that dude. The funny thing about Trey is, like, when all of the Lane host stuff went down at the Egg Bowl, who do you think was behind me going, Ben, I gotta put that out there. I gotta send that up. It was my man Trey Wallace. Hey Trey, what up, man?
The best part was me feeling so like icky. I don't know if icky's the right word in journalistic form, whatever. All right, should I put this out? But then I knew the problem was, I knew that there were 3 different angles that saw it. And I'm like, well, shit, man, if I don't put it out, all right, somebody's going to put it out and they're not going to know the whole thing. And they're not going to have the audio, because literally I'm just walking. I do this thing, like any college game that I go to, I'll just follow the winning coach off the field. In that scenario, it was all hell breaking loose. And, all of a sudden I'm sitting there, doing it for what I do with the work in case I miss something. All of a sudden Lane turns around and I'm like, uh-oh. I don't know the backstory to this. What's about to happen here? And then it's the hoe. And then I'm sitting in the press con, Ben, bro, do I tag your name? What am I doing here? And so, that was, man, thanks to Lane Kiffin for ruining Thanksgiving and the whole month and everything else that has transpired from there. But crazy fun times, and we end up here, so it works out.
What do you make of the Clemson tampering stuff? I mean, just the tampering discussion in college football right now, my guy.
I think it's so rampant that it's really hard to narrow down on one team. And if you're trying to narrow down on one team, then you're at a lost cause. I mean, it's going on everywhere, and I'm sure. Look, I'm sure there's some small schools out there, and that's why I hate to say everywhere a lot of times, because there's some small school that's not involved in tampering, but we're just talking in general with college football, and this is happening. And whether it's third parties that are doing it, high school coaches, parents that are reaching out, it doesn't matter. It's going on in college football. I think with the Clemson thing, I found it interesting because when you want to put another school on blast, you darn well better make sure your house is clean before you do it. And there are stories about Clemson football that, okay, well, we didn't use the transfer portal. We're not up to that part yet. But we all know how things were getting done in previous years with Clemson before NIL was actually legal. And so I find it fascinating. I find it weird that Dabo would go to those lengths. At the same time where I'm like, okay, this is interesting. you've got a coach that's actually coming out and naming a school and whatnot and bringing receipts, which the receipts were the text messages on his assistant coach's phones. And I promise you, he was recording that conversation, or his assistant was, with Austin Thomas. That's how he knows how that conversation went down. They were recording that. Well, you don't have the conversations from the other side to them. So that's where it's kind of like, who's telling the truth? Who's got the whole truth in here? And I've always said this, don't throw big old stones from a glass house. And if somebody really wanted to, they could find something on Clemson, just like they could find something on any other school in college football. So, I thought a little bit over dramatic. I thought it was a bit much, but Dabo Swinney's at the point of his career where he just doesn't care anymore. And he probably also sees the writing on the wall with what's going on if Clemson puts up another 6-7 win season next year.
Trey, what's interesting to me about Dabo, obviously, it's no secret that he's had trouble, acclimating to this new era of college football, right? Like, he was the poster child for not paying players and not embracing this new system. And obviously the wins on the field have gone away too. The thing that made Dabo is no longer the case. Do you kind of see this as somewhat of an exit strategy for him? Kind of a final, all right, if this doesn't go my way, then I can just say the game changed. It's no longer what I got into. That's why I'm leaving, instead of, hey, I just can't seem to win the way I used to be able to.
I think with everything, and I was trying to look up his stats real quick. I think with everything that's been going on in college athletics, I think that Dabo finally reached a point where no blanks given mode, and that could be on his way out of college football after next season. You could, because you also just don't see this type of stuff often. And I know we're in a different era of college athletics. I get it. I agree with it. It's crazy. It's wild, whatever. But at the same time, the narrative of Clemson coming off the 2025 season was like, okay, all right, they're falling down the rabbit hole here. Like, they're gone. But they're not a part of the conversation anymore, which is wild to think because of where Clemson was previously. I think that right now, if I was a betting man, I'd put a little bit of money on next season being the last for Dabo Swinney. I would. There's something about, I know he wants to figure it out before he goes, but to me, I think that, you don't come out and you don't do all this stuff, regarding, Luke per se, and have your AD there when you're also, announcing your new OC. Like, I knew what was coming on that press conference. A lot of people, most people knew what was coming. I just feel like he's trying to change the narrative about Clemson in a span of a month and a half since the season ended. Well, you can't. Like, you can't change about what happened last year with a press conference about the transfer portal and other people tampering. So I just, part of it was show. Part of it was, let me see what I can put out there to see what the NCAA is going to do. Like, because if there was any school out there that was going to have a conversation about tampering, it would have been Washington with Damon Williams, with what was going on at LSU, compared to Clemson with Luke Farrelly. Like, you didn't have old boy signed to an NIL rev share deal. We're in a different era. We're in scholarship papers and financial aid agreements don't mean jack nowadays. You better have a contract signed. And I wrote about that. It's like, you screwed up because you didn't have a contract. And so, like, I get what I'm saying is, I get one side, but the other side kind of outweighs my thoughts because you didn't have a financial agreement laid out with, you might have had the details, but you didn't have a signature. And so the whole thing was a bit much. And the agent, like the whole, come on, man, like the agent, what he was doing and pretty much trying to extort money out of Clemson by saying, I got some text messages here that I'll give you, but I need an extra mil another year to the contract. Like, what are we doing now in college athletics? So long story, long answer to say, Dabo's doing his thing, and I have respect for Dabo, but at the same time, I think that, he's up in the air right now. But I think that bad boy's coming in for a landing sometime soon at Clemson. And that might not be the end of his coaching career. I just think it might be the end at Clemson.
Well, it's funny to me because Alex Golish has thoughts on tampering, yet, I mean, you had double-digit players following from USF, including your star quarterback in Byron Brown. Right. Will Stein now has some comments on tampering about how not to do this, that, and the other. But I've been bragging on Will Stein in Kentucky with their work in the portal. I love that hire. Point being is like, yes, you could, if you're going to look for tampering, you can find it anywhere. It is a problem. Everybody tampers this, that, and the other. But I just don't know if you're the NCAA, what you can do about it now, how you can get that toothpaste back in the tube, how you could selectively punish. Because at this point, we talk more about court cases than anything in college football. And that's exactly what would happen if you try to selectively enforce.
Yeah, well, I mean, you've got Joey Aguilar following the Trinidad Chambliss Charles Bediako plan and filing in a local court, which pretty sure he got a really good judge looking at the case and the docket. And so, I mean, it's either lawsuit, it's either tampering, it's either these contracts where Darian Mensah is paying Duke a good amount of money to be able to go play at another school. Like crazy. Everything shifted in college football. And we went from, I like to make this comparison. 5.5 years ago, I think 5 years ago, whatever. I'm sitting there getting ready for a spring meeting, coming off Jimbo Fisher and Nick Saban getting into it each other over sliced bread and a roster and whatnot, to the point where we're at now, where anything goes in college athletics. There are no rules. The CSC might have come out, and tried to leak it. We're looking into LSU a little bit, but it's not football related. But that didn't stop some publications from putting like a helmet on there to make you think it's football related. So what I'm getting at is everything's wild. Everything's crazy. I think that we're at a point right now, like you said, you can't put it back in the bottle. You're done. And until you get some kind of enforcement or somebody that has a set of cojones that is actually going to do something, nothing's going to change. Newsflash, folks, Congress ain't getting involved in this stuff. You got midterms coming up. You got powerful people that are more worried about their constituents than they are college athletics. And then
or protecting themselves so they can stay in a spot. You know what I mean?
Right. And I know it's not a political show, but like Ted Cruz came out the other day and said, we were at the 2-yard line, but we couldn't get a bipartisan agreement on this. Bro, you didn't have the ball on the tee for kickoff. So sorry. There's no way for them to get this thing back going unless you sign, these schools aren't going to sign this piece of paper anyways, because they don't want to be enforced on these. So I just feel like we're at a point now where anything goes. And I think the next thing that's going to happen is it's going to happen after spring football. You're going to have players that are going to file lawsuits because there's no portal period. And they're going to say, hey, I want to transfer to this other school and I want to go do this. So let me file a lawsuit because there's no portal period. I think that's the next thing to come besides them unenrolling at one school and just enrolling at another as a walk-on that will be paid for on scholarship through the collective and third party. So yeah. And it's wild where we're at. I think Ole Miss is taking bullets and heat right now. A part of me thinks it's because Ole Miss was the story throughout the postseason and the end of the regular season. And, somebody made a comparison with me the other day, like Pete Golding is like Jeremy Pruitt 2.0. And I'm like, Pete Golding is way smarter than Jeremy Pruitt, and he's not going to be passing out cash coming out of his assistant coach's office and setting up hotel schemes and paying players' parents in parking lots that is on video. Like, there's a bunch of different narratives trying to come out about Ole Miss, and it's like, you guys have no idea the shit that they were going through for a month, 2 months, and right now it's still currently doing it.
I'm curious. Yeah, I'm curious what will become of like the Joey Aguilar court case with Trinidad Chambliss. I mean, because it's interesting with Trinidad's. I don't know exactly how the appeals process works with the NCAA, but to me, it's like the NFL. You can, yes, there's an appeals process, but you're appealing to the people who just denied you. The idea that you're going to get that is, to me, partial. So the court injunctions where it goes. Do you think Trinidad gets his? Do you think Joey Aguilar successful? Like, what do we make of all that? And because a lot of these guys need to be preparing for the NFL draft, or they're not going to be deemed eligible.
Yeah, that's the one thing too that kind of stands out is like even like the Joey Aguilar thing. He could have been in Mobile for the Senior Bowl, getting prepped for the NFL that way. But they had a plan all along. I think for the last month and a half, they had a plan. Let's get away from the Diego Pavia lawsuit. Let's go file in a local court, following the Trinidad model. I think the way the Chambliss ordeal and court case is set up where they're not really looking for a TRO. They're looking for the injunction. And the injunction would grant him the ability to play where you're not having to deal with this right when the season starts and the court comes back and says, you can't play. I think that's where the Joey Aguilar thing is a little bit different because Joey's looking for a TRO so he's not enrolled at Tennessee right now. So he's looking for a TRO to say, hey, you're good to go enroll and be there for spring practice. And the way schools are set up now, you have these mini semesters that are like 3 weeks long. Well, that's how these athletes get in. They just go enroll in a mini semester, and now all of a sudden they're a student again. So there's the difference in that. I think with what Tom Mars and the attorneys representing Trinidad have, and I think the fact that they're about to go full Matlock on this thing, and they want a trial, and they want to put the like the last case that I was at NCAA related was in Greenville, Tennessee, when the state attorney generals for Tennessee sued the NCAA because they didn't want to get in trouble. They didn't want the university to get in trouble for the Nico stuff. So then, that happened. So that was a federal type of case. And, I think with what they have and talking with folks and knowing what Trinidad and them have, I think it works out in their favor. I think it's going to take a minute. I think they'll be prepared for that. And at the end of the day, I think Chambliss will be playing for Ole Miss next season. They'll be making a good amount of money too. And Ole Miss is going to be fine in 2026 and they'll figure out the future. And, I know they're trying right now. For Joey Aguilar, it's a different case than Diego Pavia. He was 3 years at a JUCO. Diego only played one. And it was at the Military Institute before he went to New Mexico State and then so on. Joey's played 3. Now, sure, he redshirted and the COVID year had happened and the season got canceled and whatnot. And then he went and played 2 more years. So there's a big difference here. So that's why they weren't going to be granted on the federal. They knew that they wouldn't be granted a TRO or any. So let's go local. Let's find the Knoxville judge that is a silent donor to Tennessee, and not in the handbook like Charles Bediaco's judge ran into. And then maybe it works out. So, yeah, I think that there's a lot of crazy things that are going to happen over the next few weeks and even the next few months. And I would say for Trinidad, he's got a good group of lawyers that are bulldogs and, just walk into court with a straw hat and a bow tie and they'll be good to go.
But it's funny to see Lane doing the 1-800 Tom Mars for Joey Aguilar, just when you're the one that gave, Trinidad Tom Mars, and all that kind of stuff when you try to pull the LSU with you. It's a weird, bizarre, and it's taking the focus off of what this is supposed to be about, Trey. This is the fact that we talk more about court cases than the on-the-field product's insane to me.
Yeah, that's the weird part. That's the thing. The last 2 years, my offseason was filled with house settlements and all that stuff and the lawsuits that came with it, blah, blah, blah. This offseason, it's going to be filled with eligibility lawsuits and then transfer portal lawsuits coming out of spring. I think that's the next thing to come. And then I'll throw another one at you. If Charles Bediaco is granted a temporary injunction on Friday in court, and we'll see if it actually happens Friday, but they have the next hearing on Friday in a Tuscaloosa court. I think it opens up something for college baseball players. And I think that you might see some guys that maybe are in the AA and the AAA leagues that might still have some college eligibility left because of the 5-year rule that maybe have dipped out, in the last 2 to 3 years, but they might have a year or 2 left. I think that's what I think, and talking with a couple of folks, if Bediaco gets his injunction, I think you see a couple high-profile college baseball players that maybe, when pitchers and catchers report and whatnot and spring training starts, that they see the writing on the wall, they try to come back to college baseball. I think that's the next one. Wow. And the Lane Kiffin stuff, dude, just be quiet, bro. Just be quiet. Stop with the whole 1-800 Tom Mars thing, and I want to be. Is that the same number you gave Trinidad when he tried to reach out to Tom Mars? Like, so God bless him and what he does for entertainment on social and has fun, great. But that shtick is up, and I think that folks around the country are seeing it, but also. And don't get me wrong, I have a lot of LSU colleagues that cover that team on a daily basis, and I love those guys. They're great. Newsflash.
My dudes, man.
Y'all are going to have and be put through the ringer right when summertime hits. And I mean this in a nice way to Lane, but Lane's open right now because of it's a new, fresh car. When it gets to the point of summertime coming around and then the season, it's going to be a different animal. And you lose 2 to 3 games, you'll see a different Lane. So I'm just saying, prepare yourself, LSU folks. I know you love your new car right now, but wait till you get some miles on it. Easy as that.
Without a doubt. Trey, we talk about all the things wrong with college sports. I want to talk to you about something that's actually awesome, and I saw you tweet about it yesterday, which is Miami of Ohio basketball team. Those guys are 22-0. They're looking for their first NCAA tournament appearance since 2007. I mean, how cool is this story, man? I mean, they just sold out their arena. I think over 10,000 people for the first time ever in this 50-plus-year-old arena. Just how cool of a story is that?
Yeah, it's so...
Indiana wins the national championship. You got Miami of Ohio, who's undefeated. The own court field results are better and more fun than they've ever been. It's just everything off is a disaster. Trey.
It's so wild. 3 weeks ago, I saw a video. A girlfriend was scrolling TikTok or whatever, and she saw a video sold out arena for Miami of Ohio. The crowd was nuts, crazy, and I'm like, huh, okay. I knew what their record was at the time, but and now all of a sudden you're sitting at 22-0, and people want to be like, who you played, and it's you're 22-0. Right. I don't care who you played up to this point. And you've got the arena, which is old and decrepit, which I love. I love the old and decrepit arenas in college basketball.
Missed the tad bad, folks. Really missed the tad.
Right, exactly. And you see the support, and there's 10,000 Miami of Ohio Red Hawk fans in the stands. And that just shows, the first off, the passion of college basketball. Second of all, you put a product in front of somebody that's good, they're going to show up, especially a fan base that's dying for some type of wins, whether that be on the football field, baseball, or basketball. And I just think, even if they lose a couple games down the stretch, who cares? I think this is a team that, I'm not going to say they're going to make some run in March Madness, but what I am saying is that this is the cool, fresh story, and it's the underdog school that's ranked in the top 25, and the fans are buying in. And I love this because it's going to help their NIL. It's going to, you're already getting coverage on it. You got me to tweet about it because it's a encapsulating story. It's really neat. So, I hopefully it keeps up. I want them to go damn 30-0. That'd be great. Right. Let's see what happens. And
what's awesome is, this team was so close to getting in the tournament a year ago. They almost won the MAC, title, and then Akron just had that ridiculous comeback. So all those guys decided, hey, we're going to come back. Let's throw this in the trash. We're all coming back. And that age and experience is really paying off for them. I think they lead the nation in scoring percentage and field goal percentage. It's the longest winning streak in MAC history. They play Buffalo tonight, who almost beat them in overtime, I think, a couple weeks ago. This is an exciting team, man.
Yeah, it's just you add up everything involved in it in college basketball. And I know it takes folks a little bit to get over the football season and then to get into basketball. Unless you're a basketball diehard like me. I'm watching games in November, whatever. But I'm just saying, it takes a minute. But then you see a story like this kind of come out of nowhere. If you weren't paying attention, you're like, wait a minute, what? They're 22-0. That arena's filled. Look at that crowd for a game in a blizzard conditions on the outside. So that's what I love about the sport. That's what I love about college basketball. Hell, guys, we're just over a month away from the SEC tournament starting, Big Ten tournament starting, all these conference tournaments. We're here, and March Madness is around the corner. I'm fascinated by to see where this one goes.
Trey, you're the man. Thank you for joining us. I'll get you out of here with this. All right. If Trinidad Chambliss is back for Ole Miss at quarterback, all right, where do you have them preseason ranked in the top 25? Because that's been a point of contention. I've seen PFF say they got him at number 9. I've seen Josh Pate put him at number 16, for goodness sake. I just don't see how a team returning Trinidad Chambliss, what they've done in the portal, and Keywan Lacey, winning 13 games last year, and if anybody else with that logo brought back 2 Heisman candidates, I would say they'd be top 10 easy. I mean, where would you have them?
I'd probably have them at 9 or 10. I'd 9 or 10. Like, and that's good for Ole Miss. Like that, I could easily make a case for them being 5 or 6 in the country, just as much as I can make a case for 9 or 10. You bring back that type of production. I'm saying Trinidad's going to play. You got your wide receivers. In my opinion, they're going to be set. The offensive line, defensive wise, I think they did really good in the portal. And also you took care of your coaching staff. Brought in a coaching staff that I think is good enough where Pete Golding can be the CEO and allow the staff to be ran and figure out everything it entails there. At the same time, still dip his toes on the defense. That's great. And I think also you look at the production, like we talk about the coaches a lot. We talked about all that crap during the postseason run and how much the coaches have an influence. Sure they do. But by then, the players are already in the system. You know what you're getting. So with the veteran leadership they have coming back, I just think this is going to be a team next year that's going to be a problem. And I look around the SEC and I see some holes in places. Like I'm not ready to crown South Carolina again as the top 15 team because they got Lenoris, Dylan Stewart, a couple other players coming back just because I saw what last season did. I can look at Ole Miss and say, okay, well, Lane's gone. Okay, is what it is. Fine. But and Charlie Weiss is gone. Okay, fine. You're still bringing in a coordinator. You're pretty much going to run the same offense with a little bit of wrinkles. And you bring back Keywan and you bring back Trinidad. How can you not be excited about that offense? And we know that the defense is going to be up to the par of Pete Golding. And he's such a, gigantic influence on that in college football. So, I like Ole Miss. Top 10, definitely for me. And then let's see what happens. I'm trying to submit my credentials right now for that game against LSU. We'll see how that works.
Yeah, I hope to see you there, my friend. I'll be there, and
yeah,
that's a heck of a so you got to be there with the camera so you can follow me around whenever.
Right, I got to be where exactly. I just want to catch that next hoe and see if there's a different reference this time.
Well, Trey, I don't know if you know, but they're best friends now. I mean, they're texting every day. They're talking about their kids. I mean, they're buddies now.
I mean, congratulations. I hope you're getting this. I hope you're getting the same. I'll get to that comment about Clay in just a second. I hope you're getting the same 2:30 a.m. voice memos that I get every now and then that are just weird as hell. And it's like, why are you bothering me at 2:30 in the morning? Please stop. The girlfriend's looking over. It's like, who's texting you at 2:30 in the morning?
Who's texting you at 2:30 in the morning?
Text you at 2:30. It's just Lane. It's okay. Go back to bed. I'm going to bed.
Is it that hoe again? Be like, well, you could say that.
You might. You could. And on the way out, no comment on Clay Travis saying DeBoer. I don't control Clay Travis. Clay Travis is not my boss. I love the guy. He's a great dude. Blah, blah, blah. But DeBoer, if DeBoer puts up that type of year again, I'm just telling you, they were already ready to run him out of town if he would have lost, to Auburn. So just prepare yourself if that's the case next year. I'll leave it at that.
Thank you, Trey. I appreciate you, my friend.
Appreciate you, Trey.
Yeah, guys. Have a great day.
All right, man. That's Trey Wallace of OutKick. What a great dude, man. I love that guy.
He's awesome, man.
Awesome, bro. And so thankful that he joined us here on Game Runs Deep, Talk of Champions. You've been seeing all of our advertisers scroll there on the bottom. Riverland Roofing, B&A Bank, Drew Moak of USA Benefits Group, College Corner, Built Different Fitness. You pick your spot. So many have really poured into this show, and we're so thankful for them. So I wanted to give them a shout out and again say thank you to Trey for stopping by and talking about all this stuff. It's good to hear, man. It's like a national perspective. Sometimes we get in our little silo. You know what I mean? Our little silo. I need a national perspective to come in here. And tomorrow on Talk of Champions, since Sudu he insists that this is not Talk of Champions. On Talk of Champions, tomorrow at 1 p.m. Central Time, Bryson Sanders, Ole Miss starting center, will be joining us. So come and join me. And I think it's going to be Zach Berry. I've got to reach out to Zach. But 1 p.m. Central Time tomorrow. Usually we're 10 a.m., as you see, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. This is Game Runs Deep Tuesday. And then Sudu and I think we'll be back on Friday. When do we plan to do it again after this?
Yeah,
Friday?
I think we said Tuesdays and Fridays for this new
Tuesdays
schedule.
and Fridays. So yeah, maybe me and Sudu will get another one because Trey was awesome. But tomorrow at 1 p.m. Central Time, join me. I think it's going to be Zach Berry, both of us at the Ole Miss Spirit, OleMissSpirit.com, Flip on 3, and Bryson Sanders, Ole Miss starting center. Hey, over there across from Sudu, like above Sudu's head, is a QR code, $1 for new members to sign up for the Ole Miss Spirit, OleMissSpirit.com, to Flip on 3. That's where we are all day, every day. Sudu doesn't post like he should, but he works.
I'm on there. I see stuff. I like stuff.
You know
what's funny is the whole Chuck thing that went on social media. Chuck posted that last Wednesday. I even referenced it on this podcast. And then it took about 5 days for it to just blow up on social media. And everybody made it sound like it was posted 2 days ago. So just know that I am there. I see everything. You didn't even see it somehow. And I saw that last Wednesday when he originally posted it. So just, yeah. I may not say stuff, but just know I'm there.
Yeah. Well, Chuck, like Clay is not Trey's boss. Chuck is not my boss. I don't read everything that other people write and report, but that's not even reporting. That was just more something he was hearing. But
that's like the rumor, and that's what's so funny to me. I was listening to your episode yesterday with Brad, and you guys mentioned the difference between reporting and what a message board is. And
well, you kind of put me on
is,
you kind of put me on that. Like you changed my perspective on how what we got to do now in this different culture in the year of our Lord 2026. Praise be to God, from whom all blessings flow. And it's just really it really opened my eyes to some things. Like you got to be everything all at once.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like they want you to report, break news, opinion, rumor. I mean, it's like Entertainment Tonight, rumor collecting. You know what I mean? There's a lot of
What's funny is people, the consumer, the reader, could not tell the difference between a journalist, a news anchor, a columnist. Like those were already hard enough in traditional media because people would read a column and go, this guy is a terrible journalist and is a biased reporter. And that's exactly what a column is supposed to be. It's supposed to be opinions. Usually it's given to the person that has been esteemed and has covered sports and been a unbiased journalist for many, many years, then gets to be a columnist. And people didn't even realize that back in the day in the traditional form of media. Now, where the lines are blurred, it's even harder for people to know the difference. Like I've heard people call you a podcaster. I've heard people call you a bad journalist. I've heard people call you all kinds of things. And it's like you wear 7 different hats. At this point, we're all just kind of content creators. Some have more journalistic integrity because that's what their job requires. Others, maybe not as much. It's not required of their jobs. You have to wear 7 different hats. So I did enjoy you and Brad trying to explain to people what a rumor is on a message board versus when you physically write something and publish it. And I think I wish there was a way to educate people. Like this was a class that everybody had to take of how to figure out, parse through stuff and go like, this is what this is what that is. But everybody just kind of muddles it up.
To which I would say, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like, I don't care what any of these, what anyone says about, I just try to do the job well. That's the God's honest truth. I don't hate Clemson. I don't hate LSU. I don't hate anybody else. That's not what it is.
And it's not even about them. It's kind of what HopeFlax 24 is saying. Are you saying this country has an issue with media literacy? I, for one, am shocked at these developments. That's what I'm saying. I just wish our population, just understood what different forms of media are, what's real, what's fake, what's rumors. I think that would obviously be very beneficial.
We're all skewed by our own biases. We're all skewed
100%.
by Clemson and LSU fans, like C. Rogers in the chat saying, as they're talking to each other, prove Dabo is making up his claim. No, see, the burden of proof in the United States of America falls on the accuser, not the accused. You have to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt. But see, that's where it's backwards with the NCAA, as has always been, just like with their NCAA investigative case back in the 2010s. the NCAA had a predetermined outcome and they worked to get to that outcome, even though the evidence at best was flimsy. But at that point, the court of public opinion had already rendered its verdict on Ole Miss that they were the cheaters. And the same kind of thing is happening now, in my opinion. That's why I'm like, so it's, well, Ben, you say you've got receipts. Well, first of all, I said I've read the receipts. I've seen the receipts. I know the receipts. I've gotten forwarded receipts. But it's not my defense to make. My job is simply to tell you, hey, like Trey was talking about, don't throw stones in glass houses. Everybody has something on somebody. And if you're going to come with it like that, just like, all right, Dabo is proved that Dabo is making up his claim. Well, here's my retort to that. All of Dabo's accusations were backed by hearsay. I want to see the text. I want to see what he's talking about. Well, I can get them to you, or I can. No. It's almost as if Dabo knows correctly or knew correctly that it's less about what you have and what you can prove than throwing as much crap out there into the public space because the verdict will be rendered, and maybe that's all the damage you need to do. Right? Really need to do, because I think someone was absolutely right in regards to. In regards to like Dabo is in a weird place in his career. There are legitimate questions about his future at Clemson. So then you could start to say reasonably, well, wait, hold on a second. Maybe those biases are what are skewing your perspective here. You know what I mean? Because I just find it patently absurd that everyone says, well, Ole Miss proved Dabo wrong. No, Dabo, you prove Ole Miss wrong. Or you prove what you're saying about Ole Miss is true. Ole Miss hasn't said anything for a legitimate reason, because they believe, like you believed, and you were right, that you can get your biggest chunk of flesh by just going very public and making it publicly messy. Ole Miss says, well, we won't respond to it because in this news cycle, it'll be gone in 3 to 4 days. And they're not necessarily wrong, because our attention spans are that of dogs, which is about what, 4 seconds?
Couldn't tell you that.
So like in a world where nothing matters, and that's what college athletics is. There are no rules, so nothing matters. Like in the absence of enforcement, in the absence of uniformity of rules, in the absence of adults in the room, well, then you just got a bunch of food fighting going on. You know what I mean? Just throwing crap at each other. So
yeah,
that's the one thing I wanted to touch on. It's like everyone just assumes or just takes Dabo's word for it and then says, well, Ole Miss or Ben, show us the receipts you claim to have. No, I want to be like, Dabo, show the receipts you have. And then you present your evidence. Ole Miss would present its evidence, and then a judge or jury would render its ruling. The problem is that there's no impartial jury or judge or commissioner or this, that, and the other. Now it's going to courts. And if you're Joey Aguilar, of course, you take it to a court in Tennessee with a favorable judge, as Ole Miss would with Trinidad Chambliss in the Chancery Court of Lafayette County. Turn around and have a hearing February 12th in Calhoun City. It's just, this is not how operationally it's supposed to go. At the end of it,
and my guess is Dabo's quote unquote receipts will never see the light of day, because if he did just submit them to the NCAA, unless the NCAA leaks it or someone else leaks it, no one will ever see it. Also, Ben and I, like you've said this, I've said this, we just know this because we've, covered Ole Miss long enough or been around that sphere to know how the NCAA operates. And we've seen how the NCAA has enforced rules for other schools in the past, or how some schools have just said, we're not going to cooperate with you, like North Carolina did in their cheating scandal, right? And what we're seeing is that's why we don't have much confidence that they're going to enforce anything, because they haven't done it. And even if they tried, out of nowhere, after all these years, they come through and say, this is what we're going to enforce. It's really hard in 2026 for any institution to take what they say seriously. And I said this, I think, on our last podcast too, is you have an institution that has shown time and time again that it is not fair and equitable in how it enforces its rules, and especially now does not have the same power that it used to have. As we've talked about multiple times, now schools can literally just go to court, and the NCAA, because here's the NCAA is not some governing body that has actual enforcement. They can't take you to jail, right? Like it was created to police and essentially organize a bunch of schools and conferences and make it easy for scheduling and trophies and events and different things like that. But it just exists as an institution, and it doesn't really have any true power, especially in 2026. So those of you who are saying like Ole Miss is going to get, hammered by the NCAA, which would be a level 2 violation. Yes, previously in the past, you're probably right. If Dabo actually had receipts 10 years ago, the NCAA also, this whole tampering thing wouldn't be a thing about 10 years ago.
True.
It just, in that system, it wasn't possible. But if you did break those rules, yeah, they would probably hammer Ole Miss as far as level 2 violations. They suspend Pete Golding. It's not even the same NCAA anymore. So I saw some people respond to what Ben said with Brad yesterday, and they were tweeting at NCAA, look at these guys. They're just so bold. They're saying y'all won't do anything. And it's like, bro, what are they going to do in 2026? They haven't enforced any of this stuff for years. What are they? Who's taking them serious now? That's the point. It's not whether it's right or wrong or should they enforce. They're just not the same NCAA that they used to be.
They know in the NCAA, even in their whatever they used to be, it wasn't sufficient. If anything, it fell very well short. My whole thing is every one of us agree. The current system sucks. It sucks. They need to reform it. But who is they? Congress ain't doing nothing.
Maybe Dabo leaves Clemson and becomes the enforcement arm of college athletics.
And the first thing Dabo does go, well, I'm gonna get him for Luke Farrelly. Come on. I mean, that's nonsense. Like, yeah, and like I love people that always bring up like the Nick Saban possibility. As if Nick Saban compromised by CAA would be a good commissioner for this. Like, you need a truly neutral guiding party. I don't know if that's even possible anymore in 2026. I have no clue. But I will say, like, we all saw this coming. We've been saying this since COVID, when everything started, like the transfer stuff really started to blow up. Who the hell is Dabo to enforce honor among thieves? And the thing is like, I don't even think it's thieves. I just think it's like there's you gotta play the game. You have to play the game, and the game is messed up, and it's backstabby, and it's no honor among, if you want to call them thieves. You see what I'm saying? Like, I do agree in that way. But the burden of proof falls on Dabo. And the idea that Ole Miss doesn't have its own defense, like there's a strategy in keeping quiet until you need to say something. Walk quietly, carry a big stick. I mean, Ole Miss will respond in kind if it needs to. What we're essentially finding out, or about to find out, is what can the NCAA do in 2026? And I love tagging the NCAA on Twitter. Really? You just changed the game for this whole. You just blew it wide open because some dinky idiot in New Albany, Mississippi, who's been covering Ole Miss for 20 years and will continue to cover Ole Miss, God willing, for as long.
This is the exact tweet, Ben. This is in response to you and Brad's comments yesterday at NCAA football. Okay, this is what Ole Miss media thinks of your governance. They say the school has a, quote, big stick. Hashtag make an example of. Hashtag set an example.
Hashtag. It's not 2009 anymore. We don't have to hashtag it anymore. We don't have to do that.
That comment was funny. That one got me.
Well, I'm trying to
as if some kid running social media for the NCAA is going to see that and be like, hey, we got to get the head guy here, man. We got to get the head guy here because I heard somebody say, that's the name of the account, at Could Be Hearsay. I heard them say that this is what, like, come on, what are we doing, man?
Here's the mentions. This is the first time. Take the rest of the noise out of this and ask yourself, who'd you bet on having their house in order, Dabo or Goldie? Thanks, I'll hang up and listen. Goldie. Holy cope. Ole Miss with their Timu Law School threatening to host a trial in the land of tobacco lawsuit. Backwoods legal scholars bluffing hard. Do you know what Ole Miss is known for? Doctors and lawyers. That just shows a fundamental misunderstanding. Like, Ben is such a hoe. Not like your head coach. This Ben dude. Okay, so I didn't see any of this. How does Ole Miss have a talking championship? What did they? First of all, they won a title in 2012 or 2022 in baseball. They've won 2 football national championships, of course, in the 60s. But talk of champions is playoff of walk of champions, which is what the Ole Miss football team walks before every football game down to Vaught-Hemingway Stadium amongst the fans. And again, it shows a fundamental lack of understanding of what Ole Miss is because you want to take your own biases. Talk of champions is a funny name for an Ole Miss pod. Again, pay attention or continue to be, misinformed idiots. It's okay. No one, if you come, what a joke, bro. Why, Harrison Boyd? Well, this is insane. Yeah, you're right. This is there are a lot of responses to this. I love the old piss one. The old piss is just You think he had a press conference for hearsay? Well, where are the receipts, Raylan? Where are they?
Also, wasn't the whole receipt thing like if Dabo would have given Ferrelli another $1 million?
Looking ass mean.
Wait, what's that?
2 dumbass hoes, Ginger Billy looking ass.
Unfamiliar with that one, Chief.
Should be changed to talk of hard R. Ole Miss playing victim after this. No one's playing victim. Y'all are the ones playing victim.
I don't think Ole Miss is playing victim. I think the Ole Miss position, or at least amongst the fans, we don't know what the school's position is. They haven't said anything. I think amongst the fans, it's that, hey, when the guy that literally left our program previously was doing it at Ole Miss, but also after he left, nobody said anything. But the minute Ole Miss gets called out for it, it becomes this big thing of like, it kind of just the entire issue fell on this one program of trying to make them an example. And I think that's the complaint, I think, amongst Ole Miss fans. It's like, why are we the only ones being called out when this is a very common thing? What I also love with college football, or just college sports fans, is like they act so naive when it comes to their school. It's like, our school would never.
The burden of proof falls on Dabo. That's what y'all fail to understand. It's insane.
Yeah. And it's like, you can't be that naive to think that your major college institution is just not involved in this. You know what I mean? And it cracks me up because you hear like former guys, talking about this all the time. Shaq, Charles Barkley. I mean, this dates back to so long ago. Ever since there's been college athletics, someone has tried to get a kid by giving them something to come to their school. And, you hear all these stories now of like, oh, I guess we could talk about it now. And all these, players talking about what they were given to go to certain schools. And yet people still act like their school is the one that doesn't do it. And that's just funny to me. It's just hilarious. And then they'll go, well, show us the proof. And I'm like, the proof is all these former players openly talking about it now. It's like, I don't know. It is funny to me.
Well,
I would never think that about Ole Miss. I went there. I grew up as a fan. I would never sit here and go, Ole Miss would never do this. Like if nothing had ever come out, I would be like, yeah, they're probably doing this.
They're stupid if they're not.
Yeah. That's just been the system forever, guys. Whether it was Dodge Challengers or McDonald's money bags or... It's just been a thing. It's not a secret. Like, that's what kills me is people that act like it just wasn't going on at their school. It cracks me up.
Yeah. I wish we would focus more. I wish that what didn't dominate the conversation constantly when it comes to college athletics was court cases.
Yeah.
I wish we talked and cared more rather than like destroy the people I hate. Rather than celebrating Miami of Ohio being undefeated in basketball, Indiana winning a national championship. Indiana won a national championship in football a couple of weeks ago. That's nuts. Miami of Ohio is 22-0. The on-court and on-field results in production don't match the absolute absurdity of the governing rules and whatever with the NCAA. It just doesn't align. And that's what's the crappy part. It's like the product's awesome now.
Yeah.
Anybody can have a seat at the table. Anybody. But yet we're more worried about punish who I perceive to be my adversaries more than my team winning. Right? Yeah. Ole Miss doesn't have to say a word or do anything about Dabo's pissy fit if it doesn't want to until it's required to. And even when it is required to, who's going to be doing the requiring? The days of exemplary cooperation are gone.
Yeah.
And the LSU fans in the chat, I just want to say thank you for joining us. And you're making my point for me. This guy, the only reason you go to court is because you aren't good enough to compete straight up. What the hell are you talking about? What are you talking about? You go to court because that's the only way you can get any type of relief or ruling. That's insane. And a geriatric quarterback, he's 24, 3?
2023. I think Sam Levitt's 21. So
what are you talking about?
Like, not really that huge.
And again, you're making the point. You'll go slob on the knob of Sam Levitt, but then say, yeah, but look, we're doing it the right way, even though like Lane stalked the dude, going to Knoxville, going everywhere around him. You know what I mean? What are we doing? He's out of eligibility. Everybody's out of eligibility, dummy. Everybody. You got TJ Finley getting a seventh year. You've got a Miami linebacker getting 8. We're talking about the uniformity of the rules, dumbass, not about individual cases. That's not what we're doing. Like, I don't disagree that Trinidad Chambliss' case against the backdrop of the old ways of the NCAA, I don't disagree that it's a flimsy case. All right? But it doesn't matter because they had the proper documentation. They had the caseworker say that's sufficient, blah, 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 blah. You don't turn around and grant the TJ Finleys, grant the Miami linebacker, pick and choose. Pick and choose. We're saying the lack of uniformity in the rules are what needs reformation. This isn't about white knighting for Trinidad Chambliss. It's saying, wait, what are you protecting, denying him, and allowing these to continue? Like, what are you protecting? Who are you protecting? What? Explain.
Yeah.
And
there's no consistency. And with I don't. It's to me. Enforcement is just never going to come from the NCAA. Essentially, what's going to have to, it's what Trey was talking about earlier. This is only going to get worse. I mean, he's talking about minor league baseball players now looking to maybe get injunctions. That's his prediction on what's coming next. So this problem's only going to get worse. None of us want this. Nobody wants tampering. Nobody wants G leaguers coming back to college. Nobody wants minor leaguers coming back to college.
That is abhorrent to me.
Exactly. It's ridiculous. But
the dude said it. I read it. Like, he played for the Hornets. He's from previously UCLA.
Amari Bailey.
Amari Bailey. Thank you.
Yeah.
And he said, why not me? That's my point. It's like everyone's like, all right, what are we can do this? Why wouldn't you take the chance? Like, his career has been like, he's on the back end, on the back nine of his career already because he can't get into games. Of course he wants to continue his career, and the best avenue for him is like, I can get a court injunction, go play in college athletics again.
Right.
It's ridiculous. It's absurd, but like, I don't blame him. I would do it too. This might be, as far as basketball is concerned, Amari Bailey's best, without question, best opportunity to make money in his life. Might be. Certainly it's going to be his highest earning potential in the sport that he plays. Because imagine what you can get. Like, why does Trinidad Chambliss, like, I love that. Someone said, where is it? Yeah, it was already on the screen. Let them talk, Ben. They were dying to have Trinidad Chambliss at quarterback 3. Yes, y'all, like, do you think we forget about the graphics with Trinidad and LSU jerseys? Like, it's the same thing with Kiwan and this, that, and the other. Now he's a geriatric quarterback and you're desperate. And you see how silly you sound when you make these claims? You see how silly that is? Because there is no uniformity. There is no, there's no rhyme or reason to any of this. So if we would all stop throwing crap at each other and go, hey, you know what, you stupid ginger incel, the NCAA, you see what they're saying? See what they're saying, you bitch? Instead of doing that.
You can't be an incel. You're a father and you have a wife. So
what is an incel?
Incel's like those dudes that like sit around on like forums and hate women. Isn't that do I have that right? I think that's an incel, right?
I don't know. I've been called.
They're just like they can't attract women, so they are hostile towards women and men that pull.
Oh well, yeah, I'm not that. I got a baddie of my wife. I love her to death. It ain't like that. You know what I mean? Like,
they're not even using insults right, man. It's crazy. But
I call it you're a ginger you ginger inbred douchebag. Oh, it's because we live in Mississippi. Again, Y'all want to play these games.
That's no way to talk to your fellow countrymen, guys. Come on. Don't do that.
Go look at
That's
Lane
not
Kiffin.
nice.
Like, what was Ole Miss before Lane Kiffin record-wise? Go look at Lane's record at Ole Miss without Pete Golding and then with Pete Golding. You want to play the games, like we can play those stupid games, but we're not we're targeting our fire at the wrong things. The number one thing for me is fix it. But the problem is no one knows who to yell fix it to.
That's the thing. That's kind of the point I was making earlier. It's got to be a different – first of all, collective bargaining's got to be a thing.
Yes.
Until that happens, like you're just going to have more lawsuits. It's going to be hard to enforce anything. So there's got to be some sort of collective bargaining. We just have to accept these guys are employees now. Have that, some kind of player rep, and then an organization that is brand new. Maybe you have a representative from each conference, and then you have somebody that those people elect as the commissioner. And maybe that's how they do it, or maybe all the commissioners from all the conferences come together and elect somebody to be the governing person that's supposed to be in charge. But it just has to be a completely new organization. It cannot be the NCAA because of what the NCAA has been. No one will have faith in the NCAA. Someone will always have a problem with them based on their history.
That's my thing. You made a good move by saying we're not opening the portal in basketball until after the season ends. Oh, they're learning.
Yep.
And then you continue with the waiver process and the appeals process. It's nonsensical.
Yeah.
And multi-millions of dollars are on the table. So when you start trying to selectively enforce, well, now there are real damages that are being incurred. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's a different conversation now than it was in the 2010s. Period.
Yeah.
Period. And the idea that Ole Miss is doing something that others aren't doing, or they're the poster child, that just you're showing your ass. And you're doing exactly what the bureaucrats in Indianapolis want you to do. Focus your fire where it doesn't belong. Why don't you get those people like Charlie Baker uncomfortable who's sitting on their millions of dollars to do nothing but like destroy the sport you love the most? You know what I mean? Like this is nuts to me. Lane Kiffin was great for Ole Miss. That's not what we're saying. It's they wanted to keep him. They would have preferred it. He's now at LSU. He tampered with Prince Willie Monmielen, Devin Harper, paid him to get into the portal.
Tampered with many more, but you know.
My point is, it's like
just the ones he got.
No one is above reproach in this. That's the point. It's like we bring up Lane because, like, of course, that's the one we know. Because I could tell you specifically about the buyout language for, like Trey was talking about that at the start of the show. It's like Clemson didn't sign him to a rev share agreement. Well, Ole Miss did sign Prince Willie Monmielen to a rev share agreement. Devin Harper, and guess what? That wasn't enforceable either. What is the system? No one can define it. Certainly can't point to the person who's in charge of it. And it's just time now for everyone to get on board together and say, what are we going to do to, like, the on-field and on-court product is not matching the off-field just messiness and ugliness. Thank God, because otherwise the sport would be dead by now. But, like, you can see where it's headed. You can see that. You can see in the not too where else can it go but to blow up completely, like Dan Mullen said. So in my opinion, like Dan Mullen said, strip it down, blow it up, and just start over. But you're not going to do that. Okay, then let's at least get some uniformity with it. So is Ole Miss under investigation by the NCAA?
No one has received any notice of allegations as far as I know.
If Ole Miss was to quote be under investigation, they just say no, we're not. That's what I'm saying. Like, what is enforceable? What is enforceable? This isn't 2010s, y'all. We've got to get with the program here, y'all. We've got to get with the program here. What is enforceable? That is what no one can tell you or define. If rev share agreements aren't enforceable, that was like one of the last vestiges of protection for schools. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so it's almost under investigation. I'm telling you, what does it matter if we're investigating Ole Miss? Ole Miss can say, okay, well, we're not helping you, and we'll see you in court. And there's really nothing the NCAA can do because they set that precedent. They created that precedent. I think they're delaying the appeal stuff, which I don't think is going to be successful, just because they want to see what the court ruling is. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they drag this dang thing out until next week. When Trinidad Chambliss goes in front of Calhoun's Chancery clerk, you know what I mean? Or judge in Chancery Court in Calhoun County and makes its plea and gets its injunction. You know what I mean? And then if it gets its injunction, the NCAA can say, well, we can't do anything, the courts. Because that's what they do. They want to absolve themselves of any and all blame. Period. What we need is a commissioner, a governing body. I think the governing body should be friggin' computers. Well, so-and-so did this and this. All right, we'll suspend them for this. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want any involved anymore.
Maybe it'll be the College Sports Commission. I mean, they were brought in for rev share and NIL enforcement, obviously, but if the infrastructure is there, I just don't know how I feel about. I know Deloitte is technically in charge of monitoring those deals. There's somebody from Deloitte that does that with their new NIL Go system. But maybe there's a way for, like I said, I think it's going to have to be every single conference commissioner, for at least the Power 4 conference commissioners, coming together and sort of building almost like a board and then saying, we're going to hire you. We all want the same thing for our conferences, so we're going to trust in you to be the enforcer and the leader and do it that way. I don't think it should be someone from a former athletic director at this school or this conference. Like, I don't think it can be that. But somebody that's as impartial and unbiased as possible, that is all of the commissioners agree that this is our guy. And I think it's going to have to be that person. And like I said, maybe it is the College Sports Commission. It's a newer body, and maybe they can add that onto kind of some of the responsibilities they've been tasked with, which at this point, I'm not really even sure how much they're actually doing just quite yet. It is a new body and a new system. But anything, for me, it's anyone but the NCAA, because I just can't take that organization seriously.
No one can anymore. Before we get out of here, Super Bowl week, are you excited? Are you even into it? What about Matt Nagy being the new OC for your New York Giants and Jackson Dart?
I don't know, man. I'm not excited, but you know me, I'm a very sensible person, very much a let's wait and see what happens kind of guy. But I will say, turns out he was not calling plays in Kansas City, so we'll see if that means anything for the Giants. But he was not my first pick. I'll just say that much.
Who was your first pick?
I really wanted Charlie Weiss, man.
I wanted you to say it.
Look. Here's the thing: if for nothing else other than the continuity with Dart, having worked with him for all those years, having developed him, it just felt like, hey, and especially with Harbaugh as the head coach, like it just made me feel like, hey, Harbaugh's got everything together. Let Weiss focus on how he can maximize Dart in that offense. Would have been pretty excited about that. But and then for me, I mean, Mike McDaniel at one point too. I mean, obviously he's going to LA with the Chargers, but I love Mike McDaniel as an offensive mind. I don't know if he was ready to be a coach, and maybe he never will be again. But if you just say, Mike, all you got to worry about is the offense and calling plays, I think he's one of the best in the league.
Who are you picking for the Super Bowl? I really want the Seahawks to win.
Seahawks.
I want Sam Darnold to finish.
Darnold. Yeah, Darnold's a story. I like Drake May. I think he's awesome. I wanted the Giants to draft him. The draft before Dart, I believe. And we ended up with Neighbors, still pretty cool. But I think obviously May has
when he's healthy, yeah, but he's all right.
Yeah, he's pretty good. I like Neighbors. There you go, LSU people. I like Neighbors. But
Malik Neighbors is awesome. What are you talking about? Like that's the thing. Like I don't go, oh well, he's no. You know what? Malik Neighbors is like. What are we talking about? Like what are we talking about?
No. I'm just saying if any LSU fans seem to think that like I have something against them, it's like no. I love Malik. I loved OBJ. But Drake May's got a lot of years left, obviously, to be able to win a Super Bowl. Vrabel's awesome. He's going to have that thing rolling for many, many years.
He was 6-18 in his last like 2 or 3 years in Tennessee, and everybody acts like it's or maybe 2 years. I don't remember what it was, but it's like
that was the Titans, bro. They traded away his best players.
Traded away AJ Brown,
and then they fired him. I mean, this is ridiculous. What a dysfunctional organization.
Well, for Ole Miss fans in the chat, Jared Ivey for the Seahawks, Chris Pupaw's on their practice squad. Somebody else.
We should have Jared Ivey on when he wins the Super Bowl, so I can address him directly about my Miami takes and his opinions on that.
I reached at Ben Brown for the Pats. I still associate the Pats with Brandon Bolden and Ben Jarvis Greenhouse.
That's right.
But I reached out to Jared to be on that 9-hour Fiesta Bowl pregame that you did. He did. And yeah, he turned me down cold.
What do you say? Just no? Straight up?
Why would I do that?
He said, why would I do that?
He's like, what? They don't want to hear. Well, I mean, what?
Well, when he becomes a Super Bowl champ, maybe he'll realize that, hey, maybe people do want to hear from me. So
they all want to hear from you, J.I. They love the Ivy League. Come on back home, especially if you win a Super Bowl. I'm rooting for the Seahawks because I want Sam
Darnold.
His story.
Yeah.
I want him to finish it he's Cody Rhodes, man.
Yeah.
He was stardust for most of his career. And then he went and he made it on his own. Went and won at the Vikings, you know what I mean? He was running like he was third team with the friggin' Panthers, bro. And now he goes to the Vikings. He resets that's like when Cody came home. You know what I mean? Now he needs to win the title. Now he needs to put the strap on him. You know what I mean?
I'm with you. I mean, to me, like they gave up on him too fast. I've been saying for years that the NFL doesn't develop quarterbacks like they used to anymore. And they gave up on him. The Vikings, despite what he did, gave up on him for J.J. McCarthy. They look like fools. And the Seahawks said, hey.
That's how you lose your job as general manager.
100%.
And it sucks because, that's a tough call. I get
no doubt.
Now.
Yeah.
But also.
To me, you ride with, look, you have an undeveloped rookie quarterback who got hurt, or you ride with the guy that got you all those wins. I'm riding with him. And then if it doesn't work, hey, I still got the other guy. But regardless, the Seahawks benefited from it.
If Sam Darnold wins a title, is he a Hall of Famer?
No, I don't think he's done enough to be a Hall of Famer.
I'm just asking because Bill Belichick getting in on the first ballot, and that man is one more.
Do you see Robert Kraft didn't get in either?
Robert Kraft, he got it in at Epstein Island, didn't he? I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I mean, hey, there is some association there for sure.
Look here. Let's hope our LSU fan who's just been going. How does Eli not get in the Hall of Fame? We agree.
We agree, man.
Hey, we broke it down on Game Runs Deep last week. All right.
Yeah.
One of 5 quarterbacks in NFL history with multiple Super Bowl MVPs. All right.
That's my whole thing with some of the comments on that video where people going, yeah, Eli doesn't deserve to go in. He was carried by his defense. I'm like, he literally was named the MVP of 2 Super Bowls. Not one or what, the whole Super Bowl, he was named the MVP of both. He made the most ridiculous throws I've ever seen in both of those Super Bowls, not to mention the entire playoff run. To me, that narrative is insane. All right, 08, fine. Give that Giants defense credit with Justin Tuck and Strahan and Umanura and all those guys. They were awesome. Still credit to Eli. They were awesome. But in 2011, when he had no offensive line and he was just getting clobbered and just delivering throw after throw, that year, we're going to say that was all the defense? Kind of crazy. I watched every single game that man played. Maybe the last 2 seasons I started missing some. But that was my team. I mean, I watched every single game, even if I didn't watch it live because of whatever restrictions.
I'm a Cowboys fan, but Eli's my dude. Look,
every
there's
single one.
Rallying Ole Miss past Alabama in 2021 right there on the wall.
Yeah. I mean, I have 2 pieces of Manning back there. I got a jersey and the SI cover from the first Super Bowl. So that's my point. It's I watched every single game. And people don't want to talk about personnel, how many receivers dropped balls. I think one of those seasons he had the most ridiculous amount of balls hitting receivers' hands and then tipped into interceptions. We don't look at that, and that's fair. You could do that for every single player probably in the history of the NFL. But since I watched every single game, I'm like, man, there were so many circumstances where he didn't have an offensive line, he didn't have proper receivers, his defense failed him. There's so many examples like that. Maybe that's why to me it's a no-brainer, but to others they just look at stats and they go, he doesn't deserve to be in. But even with stats, to me, 2 Super Bowl MVPs, not just the man won. He didn't win a Trent Dilfer Super Bowl. He was responsible for both of them winning both Super Bowls. I think if you can do that twice, I think you deserve to be in.
What's your score prediction from Brody Huddleston?
Score prediction. I'm going to say this one's going to be a little more high scoring than maybe we're used to in the Super Bowl. I will go 38-37 Seahawks.
Oh, that's it. The over-under set at 45.5.
Is it? I think it's going to be high scoring, man.
Seahawks are 4.5-point favorites. Super Bowl MVP, the early favorite according to betting lines. Our man Sam Darnold. Give me a sleeper pick from both teams. Or Super Bowl MVP if you want to put down a prop.
Let me pull up their rosters.
Hey Blair, how you doing, buddy? You're we're about to close up shop here, but I'm glad you got in here. Love to see all the regulars, William and Mark, and man, so many people that just hang out all the time. We're very thankful for y'all, man. So what's going on, my guy? All
Sleeper. So I mean, I guess like JSN would not be a sleeper, right? He could very well be a.
He could be. Yeah, he's plus 550.
Okay, I'm gonna go.
If
it's not Darnold, I'm gonna go JSN as your MVP, and then for the Pats, let me pull up their depth chart. I want to lean towards the defense for the Patriots if it's not.
Well, here's a sneaky good prop for anybody that wants to bet. Super Bowl touchdown odds, anytime touchdown score. Cooper Kupp is plus 260 right now. That man is getting him.
He's getting a touchdown. Dude.
That would be my sleeper pick for MVP.
Would be Cooper
Kupp.
Okay.
I like this pick right here. 28-24 New England. Christian Gonzalez MVP 2 picks. I'm picking Seattle, but I like that score around that. Yeah. You know me.
Yeah.
I would go 28-24 Seattle. Future Hall of Famer Sam Darnold winning the MVP. But if I'm picking a sleeper, it's Cooper Kupp. It's Cooper Kupp. And someone earlier in the chat, because I brought up A.J. Brown, they said A.J. Brown, future Patriot. Yes. If that man, he's going to play for the Patriots at one point in his career. He loves the New England Patriots. He would tell you during his Ole Miss, during his Ole Miss career, he made it very clear he would play for the Patriots one day if he could. So
I'm still holding out hope that the Giants can get DK and AJ in their prime. I would love to have one of those guys paired up with Dart, man. And the Giants do need a receiver now. They're probably going to draft Mekhi Lemon. That's kind of the favorite right now from USC, who's a monster. I love him. But if there's some way to add a DK or AJ to the Giants, man.
I don't know. DK seems a little washed right now.
I don't know. I think if you put him in the right system, he can still produce results.
He's a 3-route receiver. That's the only problem.
That's what I'm saying. I just want somebody that's just going to run streaks and that can out physical a DB and catch the ball.
I love DK Metcalf. He couldn't stay healthy at Ole Miss, and Matty P. New England has some cap space. A lot of it they could easily give. Yes, they could. Craig thinks it's going to be Seattle 24-9.
Okay.
So he's saying under the over/under 45.5.
Damn. All right, Craig. It could go either way, man. You just never know. Betting on the NFL is hard.
It's very hard.
It's really hard, man.
It's really fun, especially for Super Bowl Sunday. I hope all of y'all have a great Super Bowl Sunday. We'll be back, Sudu and I, on Friday to do another edition of Game Runs Deep. For those that just got into the chat, for tomorrow at 1 p.m. Central Time, it'll be me, Zach Berry, and Ole Miss starting center Bryson Sanders here on Talk of Champions. Just join us at 1 p.m. Central Time. We'll be talking with Bryson about the offseason, his surgery, the Trinidad stuff, the Free Six campaign. That's tomorrow at 1 p.m. Central Time here on Talk of Champions. Then Thursday, it'll be me and Brad Logan at 10 a.m. Central Time. And then Sudu and I again for Game Runs Deep, Talk of Champions on Friday at 10 a.m. Central Time, leading into the Super Bowl. And we're both picking the Seahawks just because we want Sam Darnold to get his.
100%.
All right.
Give my dog a ring. Well, appreciate y'all for joining, man. Had a hell of an episode. Shout out Trey Wallace for joining us. That's Spirit Ben at Spirit Ben on Twitter. I am Spirit Ben on Instagram. Make sure you follow the Ole Miss Spirit.
You're not Spirit Ben on Instagram. Oh, I am at Spirit.
I am Spirit Ben. You know, I've been saying Spirit Ben, but it's different. I tag you in so much stuff now.
Me because I was like, you're not Spirit. Oh.
That's your handle. Of course, you can subscribe to Talk of Champions on YouTube if you're not already watching it there. Subscribe to the Ole Miss Spirit. Sign up today. Is it still 50% off? What deals are you guys offering?
It's $1, man. So you scan that QR code.
$1.
Scan the QR code. Join as a new member for $1. Come hang out with us at the Ole Miss Spirit. You don't just have to be here for an hour and 15, 20 minutes, an hour and a half every single day, which is what we do now as far as podcasting, and we love it. But if you want to talk Ole Miss stuff with me all day, every day, that is the place to go. The Ole Miss Spirit scan, $1. I'm there. Sudu's a lurker, not a.
I'll see your posts. I'll see your posts.
He's a lurker. So bring his ass out of the shadows. You know what I mean? When he'll get in there, sign up for $1 and go, hey, Sudu, I'm only staying if you say hello.
If you start calling me out, I'll definitely say something. But yeah, subscribe to the Spirit. And of course, you can follow me.
I want to say that Riverland Roofing, B&A Bank, Tannehill Carmen, Drew Moak of USA Benefits Group, College Corner, Built Different Fitness, Alan Samuels Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram of Oxford for a vehicle, and of course our newest addition, C-Spire, cspire.com. They were one of our very first sponsors for the Ivy League, and now they're back with us, and we're very, very excited to have them. So
we love it. We love it. At Sudu TV for me on Twitter, Instagram. Subscribe to me on YouTube, and then of course Mudcat Media on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Appreciate y'all. We'll see you on Friday.
Yeah, I'm there. Blair says, if you're serious, Ben, I'm there. Come on with it. We love it. Ole Miss Spirit. Scan it. And the first thing, Blair, anybody, if you're new to the site for $1 and you want to, the first thing you say is, hey, Sudu, what we smoking this morning? Maybe that'll pull his ass out of the shadows. Sorry for saying that.
All right. Scott. On that note, we're out of here. Y'all take care.
We're out.